Yo, what is good, guys? It is Ortiz back with another video. So as we all know, the World Cup 2022 has just ended. Argentina beat France in penalties, giving themselves another World Cup trophy. And with so many upsets and so many big surprises in this tournament, I decided why not go through the whole tournament and pick out the biggest winners and biggest losers of this World Cup. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. So the first winner of this tournament that I will talk about has to be Morocco. Now Morocco were a team that nobody thought were going to make it far into this tournament. Many people didn't believe Morocco would make it far because of how competitive their group was. It had the likes of Belgium, Croatia, and Canada. And so many people thought that Morocco would get fourth in that group. They didn't really think they would even pass through to the round of 16. And then Morocco went, surprised everyone, became the dark horse of this tournament. Not only did they get first place in their group, but they went on to go to the semifinals, becoming the first African team to make it to the semifinals. They beat a lot of good teams such as Spain in the round of 16 when they went to penalties, and Portugal in the quarterfinals. On top of that, they were able to have such a good defense. As we all know, before they faced France, they had only conceded one goal in the tournament, and that goal was an own goal, meaning that up until they faced France in the semifinal, no other team had scored a goal on Morocco. On top of that, there was a lot of key players that gained a lot of attention, a lot of attraction from other clubs. You had Amrabat being one of the best players on that Moroccan team, as well as their goalkeeper Bono. Bono was able to get the likes of Bayern Munich and Manchester United trying to sign him. And so even though they lost to France in the semifinal, they still made a lot of people proud. They still made their country proud. And they were able to just put on an amazing performance, surpassing people's expectations, and show that they're a team to look out for. So look out for them in the 2026 World Cup. And I feel like every Moroccan can be proud of what their team was able to achieve. Now on to the loser, and I think this is probably the biggest loser of this whole World Cup. It has to be Belgium. Now this Belgian team coming into this World Cup looked pretty good. Obviously ranked number 2 by FIFA. Have a lot of good players such as Kevin De Bruyne, Courtois, Lukaku, Hazard. And so I think many people expected them to somewhat make it far into this tournament, but they did horribly. If you all remember, Kevin De Bruyne in an interview said that Belgium could not win the World Cup because they were too old. And then after that, their whole team just started arguing with one another. And I think at that point, many fans realized that there was no way this Belgium team would make it past the group stage. There was so much conflict, and you could just tell that the team chemistry was not there. They won against Canada, but realistically, they shouldn't have won that match. They lost to Morocco and then tied to Croatia. And in that Croatia game, they had so many chances to score, and just any goal at all would have put them through to the round of 16. And as we all remember, Lukaku, a person who people were hyping up. They were hyping up his return. They were saying once Lukaku returns to this Belgium team will be a whole different side. He blew chance after chance after chance and had one of the most clear opportunities to score, but still managed to screw it up. And it was because of that they weren't able to go through. And this is potentially the last time we see this golden generation of Belgium. Overall though, this Belgium team was very underwhelming, very disappointing team. And many of their players retiring by the time that the next World Cup comes. Who knows what their future looks like. The next winner of this World Cup has got to be Ecuador, with an emphasis on Ener Valencia. Now this Ecuador team coming into this World Cup, some people thought they had a good chance of possibly going to the round of 16, but with a group filled with Netherlands and Senegal, it just seemed clear that they would get third place at best. You also have to remember Ecuador had one of the youngest squads coming into this tournament, and so many people just didn't think they would do much. But they came into this World Cup, they beat Qatar, which, I mean, we'll talk about Qatar later on, but they beat Qatar, they drew to Netherlands, which was a big accomplishment for them. And all they needed to do was draw or win to Senegal. And unfortunately, they could not go through, but they still put on a great performance. And I feel like many Ecuadorians were very proud of their team, proud of what their team was able to achieve. You also had Ener Valencia, a player who most soccer or football fans have not seen in a long time, but he came into this World Cup, scored 3 goals, 1 against Netherlands, 2 against Qatar, and just put his name on the map once again. They showed a lot of heart, they showed a lot of passion, but sadly they could not go through. But again, it shows that they have a bright future. Unfortunately, Ener Valencia might not be playing in the next World Cup because he is 33 now, going to be 37 when the next World Cup comes by. But still, Ecuador are a team to look out for in the future. The next loser of this tournament has got to be Mexico, minus Guillermo Ochoa. Now, it looked like this Mexico team were going to be battling Poland to get second place. It looked like it could be either or, and it was like that, except this Mexico team did not look good whatsoever. They were saved by Guillermo Ochoa when he saved the penalty against Lewandowski. Obviously lost to Argentina, but then they had a good chance to go to the round of 16 when they faced Saudi Arabia. They were 2-0 up and just needed one more goal to go through. And they were going at it. They were going chances after chances, shots after shots. And it looked like they would get their third at any moment, but they were so focused on attacking that they forgot they had to defend and conceded to one of the easiest goals that I've ever seen. It is an easy 1-2 pass that went through. Now, this could possibly be the last time we see Ochoa in a World Cup. Now, fans do have something to look forward to because the manager, Tata Martino, has been fired. Now, as we all know, he was a manager who a lot of Mexican fans did not like because he was not calling up certain players such as Chicharito. And now with him out of the picture, it's just a question of who do they put now instead, and what does the future look like for this Mexico team? The next winner of this video has got to be obviously Argentina. Now, it's not just because they won the World Cup, but it's also just because of everything that they were able to do and all the players that showed out. As we all know, Martinez, their goalkeeper, won the best goalkeeper of the tournament, and he put on a great performance and attracted a lot of attention from big European clubs such as Bayern Munich. He also had Messi, who was making history every night. He became the first player to score in every single stage of the World Cup. He was also named the best player of the tournament and was close to winning the Golden Boot. You also have to mention Enzo Fernandez, who won the best young player of the tournament. But yeah, this whole team just showed a lot of heart and showed a lot of chemistry. It looked like they wanted to win this more than any other team. And fortunately for them, they were able to win it, and Messi was able to add another trophy to his long collection, possibly solidifying that he may be the GOAT, which is hard to say as a Ronaldo fan. And speaking of Ronaldo, that's gotta be one of my losers for this video. Again, something that's incredibly hard for me to say. Now, this was Ronaldo's tournament to show off and give teams a reason to give a chance on him. As we all know, he was dropped by Manchester United after his interview with Piers Morgan, and since then, not a lot of teams have reached out to try to buy him, except for this one team in Saudi Arabia. But other than that, no big European teams that were trying to sign him because they thought it was a risk that they were not willing to take. So Ronaldo needed to show that he is still one of the best players ever in this tournament, and unfortunately, he was not able to do that. He scored one goal from a penalty, and then after that, didn't really do much. I do think there was a lot of things that made him look worse, such as the goal that he was trying to get from Bruno Fernandes, where it was very obvious that Bruno Fernandes scored that goal, that Ronaldo did not get even the slightest touch on it. But because there was so much talk about them trying to prove Ronaldo touched it, it just really hurt people's respect for him. On top of that, when he was benched against Switzerland for Gonzalo Ramos, Ramos was able to get a hat-trick and an assist, and all these things added up and really diminished Ronaldo's performance. And when you compare that to what his rival, Lionel Messi, was able to achieve, it just does not look good for him. And the thing is, this Portugal team had a lot of good potential. They had such a good team on paper, but it just really looked like they didn't want it. When you look at other teams such as Argentina and Morocco, you can tell that the players want it. They want to win. They want to advance. They want their hands on the trophy. And I feel like this Portugal team did not look like that. They did not look like they wanted it as much as any other team, as much as Morocco, which is why they were able to lose to Morocco. And so with this performance and not a lot of teams showing that they have an interest in Ronaldo, the question is, what does the future look like for him? Does he sign with that Saudi Arabian team? Hopefully he's still able to compete at the highest level in Europe and really show people that he is still one of the greatest players alive. But for now, he's one of the losers of this video. Now, the next winner I will be talking about is Mbappe and the France team in general, but really just an emphasis on Mbappe. As we all know, Mbappe was the top scorer of the tournament, got a hat-trick in the final against Argentina, and this France team did still look pretty good despite all the injuries that they faced, such as the injuries to Benzema, Nkunku, Pogba, Kante. But many players showed up, such as Giroud, who was amazing for their team, showing that he's an underrated striker. You had Griezmann, who was playing amazingly, being a great playmaker, and of course Mbappe, and I think he can absolutely get the most goals in the World Cup history. He's only 23 and yet he is so close to getting the #1 position. You've also got to remember this France team beat the champions curse that many teams have suffered to in the past, such as Germany and Spain. But yeah, this France team played great, showed that they can still be a solid team. They can potentially make it far in the next World Cup. And sadly for them, just fell a little short to Argentina in the final. Now the next loser, I'm going to say, it's got to be Brazil. Now this Brazil team did make it pretty far, but I think they should have made it farther. I think for how much talent they had in every position except for their fullback position, it just looked destined for them to make it far to at least the semifinals. I think many people expected them to dominate, especially in the group stages. But if you look at the group stage results, they just barely won against Serbia and Switzerland, lost to Cameroon. Now they did beat South Korea 5-1, and at that point I thought that they had their squad collected, everything was going to go right for them from now on. But then they went and tied to Croatia, went to extra time, scored a goal, then conceded, and then lost in penalties. And I think that's just disappointing for them, because I think this team should have absolutely made it to the semifinals. I think they should have faced Argentina, but they didn't. And if you remember my predictions video, I did say this Brazil team needs to make it to at least the semifinals, or else it's disappointing from them. Now I still think that this Brazil team is still a threat. I think they can absolutely make it far in the next World Cup because they still have a lot of good young players. Not that they have fired their manager, now they need to go and look for a serious manager who can really discipline these players. But the reason I'm mentioning this late into the video is because I don't see them as a complete loser. I just think that they needed to go a little farther to dominate a little more, but they didn't. And so obviously I've got to put them in this video. I'm going to go through these last few teams very quickly because honestly they don't need much of an explanation. So the last two winners I have are Saudi Arabia and Japan. Saudi Arabia I only have in this video because they beat Argentina, which was a very big accomplishment, something that nobody expected. They were able to beat Argentina's win streak, and I feel like when they beat Argentina, it was just a good moment because it was just like, whoa, what is happening? This is just so unpredictable. And this was like one of the first games of the tournament. Now they didn't make it far, they obviously got last place in their group, but still they can look at that and still be proud of that. They were able to beat Argentina and then just went straight home. And Japan obviously are a big winner because they were able to get first place in their group. Now they were in a tough group with Spain and Germany and obviously Costa Rica, but many people thought Spain and Germany would be battling for the first and second position. But Japan went, they beat Germany, and they were able to beat Spain. They got first place in their group, but they fell short when they faced Croatia in the round of 16. But still, getting first place in their group was a good accomplishment for them. Plus they have some amazing kits. But yeah, for sure Japan has got to be a winner. And the last losers are 4 of them, but I'm gonna go through them very quickly. Qatar is one of the losers in my list because why the fuck were they even in this World Cup? I understand that they hosted the World Cup, so obviously their team was put into it, but still, this Qatar team showed nothing in this World Cup. They showed nothing that proved that they can be a serious team. They were the first team to get knocked out, and it just left many fans wondering why they were even here. Now the last 3 teams on my list are on this list for basically the same reason. They are Wales, Serbia, and Denmark. These were 3 teams that many people expected more of, but they just heavily underperformed. All of them failed to even get a win in this tournament. Wales, many people thought that Wales would be battling USA for that second place position. Denmark were a team that many people were excited for because they looked very good prior to the World Cup. They looked very good in the Nations League, even beat France twice. And many people, including myself, thought that they would go into the round of 16. I mean, some people, again, like me, even thought they would get first place. But no, they did not show up. Didn't even get a win. And to make matters worse, I looked dumb because I thought they were going to be the dark horse of this tournament. I thought they were going to make it all the way to the semifinals. But no, they were just so disappointing. And Serbia, again, a team that many people thought were going to be battling Switzerland for the second place position. But again, underperformed, did badly. So yeah, those are the 3 teams who all fit in the same category. But I think the biggest takeaway from this whole thing has been that the biggest winner was us, the fans. Which I know sounds corny, but hear me out. This World Cup was amazing. It was full of surprises, full of upsets, full of things you could just not predict. And I know that before this World Cup started, there was a lot of controversy. And I think many people were not looking forward to this World Cup. But it was one of the best World Cups we've ever seen. There was just so much going on. And that final was one of the best finals ever. Argentina versus France, Lionel Messi trying to get his first trophy, Mbappe and France trying to get it back to back. And it went all the way to penalties. It was just so much going on in this World Cup. And it was just amazing, for us, the fans, to see. So yeah, let me know if you guys think there are any other winners or losers that I forgot to mention. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to turn on post notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.